Do you want to create interactive reports within minutes to show top N values? Then this is a video for you. We are on part 4.3 of D for DAX series, and in this video we will discuss about top N and RankX functions. You may wonder, Raja, do we have a function called bottom N? We don't have a direct function, but we can check how we can arrive at bottom N values also. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. So this video is part 4.3 of the D for DAX series. If you need an intro on DAX, please check our previous videos on this subject, part 4.1 and 4.2. In this demonstration, we are going to speak about a fact table named Asia, which is containing some sales data. You have a calendar table created with a calendar auto function that should be used for creating reports. In case you want to check how to create similar calendar tables, please check my video part 2. The top N function will return a table with the top N rows of the table or an empty table if N value is 0 or less. Rows are not sorted in any particular order. I repeat, the top N function will not sort the results in any particular order. When you use top N to create a new table, it brings all the columns in the source table. However, the rows are limited to the specified N value. You can combine top N function with other functions to return a table with selected columns also. You can also use top N function as a measure so that it will provide you with the results when demanded, as if a virtual table was created in memory and then only the required values are being shown to you. There are quite a number of tasks that we are going to perform in this activity. I'm not going to read the number of tasks listed here. Rather, I would like to jump into action now. Alright, here we go. We have a table called Asia in which there is a column called profit. Would like to move to the report view. Would like to click on modeling. Would like to create a new table. I'm talking about a top N function, which is basically a table function. So I'm interested in creating a new table in the name called test1, for which I have started typing a formula with a DAX function called TopN, and the syntax says, Raja, tell me how many N values you want. Let me say I want the top 5 values. Then where is your table? So that is the next question. And then order by expression. So what is this order by expression? I'm going to say, okay, we have a column called profit, and that is my order by expression. And do you want the information to be sorted ascending or descending? I'm going to use an option called descending. Raja, you mentioned that sorting will not happen in any given order, but I can now see there is an option to sort the results either ascending or descending. Please wait. You will see what is the reason for me talking about this in a few minutes. Let me hit enter, and this might have produced a result. I can see a new table formed here as a test1. Let me open my table view and check the values here. So you can see the very first country name is Brunei, followed by there are 2 entries from Japan, and then there is an entry from Nepal and China. These are the top 5 values since I had given 5 as my value for N. Let me go to my source table called Asia, sort the profit column in descending order, and let me check which is the topmost row. I can now see China is the topmost row, followed by Nepal, and then there are 2 entries for Japan, and then finally there is an entry called Brunei. Now you can see that this is a real sorted order, whereas the table called test1 has created similar results but not exactly sorted in the same way in which I am expecting. So let us make it very clear. TopN is a table function that will return the selected number of rows, and there is no guarantee for any given sort order. As a next step, let me create a simple explicit measure called Profit Asia, which will get me the sum of profit columns value from the Asia table, and this measure will be parked in my all measures table, which is nothing but a parking table where all my measures will be stored. I am now going to create one more table in the name test2, for which I have started using a function called select columns. So my DAX formula starts with a function called select columns, and then you can see the TopN function, which was used by me in the previous example for creating table 1 is exactly typed here. Then I am going to say I want to create a new column in the name called country, which should be obtained from the table called Asia, wherein I have the country column. And then I want to get another column called say total profit, for which I am going to use the newly created measure called profit of Asia. Let me hit enter and let us examine the second table called test2 table. Now you can see there are only two columns here. The first column speaks about the name of the countries and the second column speaks about the total profit. Something similar to the previous one, that is test1, in which all the columns were returned, and in the second method we have decided to get only two columns. So this should give you an idea what exactly the TopN function is going to do. However, our idea is to use TopN function as a measure because we don't need to create all these tables inside the model. I have just created a slicer from the CY table's year value, then a simple table to show the name of the country and the profit value, and the profit column is sorted in descending order. Now you can see the topmost country is Singapore in terms of profit value, and the moment I am going to choose a different year, the values are changing. Please make a note that this physical table is created here for us to easily understand which is the topmost country or bottommost country and what is the profit value for such countries, nothing else. In fact, I wanted to create a DAX measure by which I want to identify the name of the country, which is the topmost country in terms of the profit value. Based upon the previous two examples of test1 and test2, I have typed a formula by which I would like to bring the topmost country value. I said top n, I want to see the top one row from the table called Asia, sorted in descending order with reference to the profit value of the Asia table. However, there is one small error in this formula because this is now going to do what? This is now going to return a table with many columns. And the moment I am going to hit enter, I will be able to see the error message. The expression refers to multiple columns. Multiple columns cannot be converted to a scalar value. So, what exactly should I do now? Instead of saying that I wanted to get the data from the entire Asia table, I need to inform that my table will have only one column and that column should be my country column, for which I can use two different functions. One of them will be called the values function, which is a table manipulator. Then I can say, okay, please go to the Asia table and get me the values from the country column and then give me the result. Let me hit enter. Probably the error message is gone. And then if I'm going to pull this measure called the top country inside a card, let us see what is the value I am getting. I just brought a card visual to the screen and then I could see that the top country measure has clearly identified Singapore as the top country in terms of profit. Just to check whether this DAX measure is working perfectly correct, let me choose 1 or 2 years from there. So in 2015 it was India, I can see it here. Maybe 2021 it was Bhutan and so on. Looks like this is working pretty much correct. Let me now talk about the values function. Values function is a table manipulation function. It will bring only the unique values from the country column. This can also be replaced with a function called all, which is a filter function. So when I type all instead of values function, let me hit enter. I do get the same answer. 2015 India, 2021 Bhutan, everything is looking fine. So I can use either the function called values or the function called all And you need to decide which should be used under given scenario. For identifying the value for the top country, I'm going to use the same TopN function. I'm just going to copy that. Then would like to create a new measure. The name of the new measure is top country profit, which will be using the calculate function, which will recalculate the given measure in a different perspective. And the different perspective is the TopN value. I'm just pasting the copied function. And then I'm going to close it with another parenthesis. Let me hit enter. Call the value of the top country profit measure inside a card visual, and I could see the exact values. I'm going to uncheck the year. So if I'm not choosing any particular year, then the topmost country is Singapore and its value is at 231.95 million, which matches here. 2021, it's Bhutan and the value is 33.87 million, that matches here. Let us once again have a look on the top country formula. It is a TopN, give me the first value if there is a virtual table which contains only two columns, the name of the country and then the profit value in descending order. So Singapore is the first line item in this table, and this is a physical table, whereas this measure is going to create a similar virtual table. Now, let me just copy this part of the formula, create a new measure, call it as bottom country, paste my formula, and then make a small change in the last syntax element of the formula. Instead of descending order, I am now making it as ascending order. Let me hit enter and then pull this value inside a new card visual. And you can now see the value exactly matches with the bottommost value in the table. So let us go for year 2015. The bottommost country is Japan. 2021. The bottommost country is Nepal. It matches here. So plain and simple, the TopN function with a minor correction can give you the bottom n values also. To identify the profit value of the bottom country, you can create a similar formula like what you have created for top country and then make a small change in the order of sorting, and then you will be getting the exact values. To perform the next task, I am going back to my top country formula wherein I have used top n and the value of n is equal to 1. Once again, let me copy this part of the formula and then click on new measure to create a new measure called top 3 countries. Let me paste the formula and then change the value of n to 3 because this time we need 3 countries to be identified as the top 3 countries. Let me hit enter. I don't see any error message coming up out of the formula. I'm happy about that. Trying to pull a card visual, then trying to get the top 3 countries' name inside the card visual. Unfortunately, I'm getting an error message. Cannot display the visual, and the reason for that is a table of multiple values was supplied where a single value was expected. In fact, there is nothing wrong in this part of the formula. As we know that TopN is a function that is going to return a table, this formula is going to return a table with one column with 3 rows of data. Whereas the card visual was expecting us to provide a scalar value or a single value, and unfortunately the card visual was not able to show a columnar value. So what kind of a modification do we need to do in the formula so that we can show the top 3 country names inside a card visual? This is the modified formula. I am declaring a variable called more than 1 and then using the same TopN function. So there is going to be no change in the TopN function. It is going to work fine. And what now it is going to do is a simple task. We are going to create a variable called more than 1 and that will hold the table value inside its memory. And then we are using the Concatenating function, that is an iterator function that will travel from row number 1 to row number last in the given table, and that table is more than 1, which means that more than 1 is a variable that will now hold 3 values from the Asia table's country column based upon the largest values of profit, and that will be now concatenated together in a single line separated by a separator called comma. Let us try to pull this value inside a card visual now and let us see what is going to happen. This modified formula gives me the correct answer. So when no particular year is selected by me in the slicer area, I could see 3 country names as I can see here. Please remember, TopN is a function that will not obey any given sort order, so don't expect sorting here. 2015, there are 3 countries. I could see the names matching here. No sorting is expected. That is absolutely fine, Raja, but I don't want the information to be seen along with the commas because this may unnecessarily increase the width of the card visual. Do we have any other alternative for that? If that's your question, I can replace this comma with a different separator that you can see as a UNICHER, unique character with a value of 10. That will create a single line space between the entries. And then you will be able to see the values inside the card visual one by one. To show the profit value for the top 3 countries added together, we can once again use a similar formula which we used in the previous example, that is calculate the profit of the Asia table in a different perspective of top 3 countries only, and that should give you the correct answer. Let us say, for example, I am going to click on year 2015. I could see 102.38 millions, 345, 340, 338 matches 102. We can similarly identify the names of the bottom 3 countries in terms of profit value and then get the sum of the profit values for the bottom 3 countries. So, our discussions on creating top n values, whether n equal to 1 in this example or n equals 3 is done with. The next discussions will be on using the RankX function. I have already typed the formula to identify the rank for every country, assuming that we have a table in which country names are provided in one column and the profit value is given another column and the profit column is kept in descending order. So the RankX function is similar to TopN in certain scenario. However, you can notice that there are 2 commas somewhere here. Let me reconstruct the formula so that you can understand how you can create your own rank function. For your information, rank function is an iterator function, so there is RankX. And then I need to provide a table. In fact, I need to provide a table with 1 column for which I am going to talk about the all of Asia tables country column. That means I am assuming that this function is going to create virtually a table in which the names of the countries will be kept in one column and they should be based upon an expression called profit of the Asia. That means the total profit, comma, then there is something called a value. I am going to skip for the time being by adding 1 more comma here, and then the order refers to the sorting order. Once again, ascending or descending, I am going to use descending as in the previous examples. Then there is 1 more option here called dense or skip. I will talk about that a bit later. So let me close this formula at this point of time with the bracket. Let me hit enter and then call for the rank values inside the table. Now I can pretty much see rank values popping up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. up to 27 because we have 27 countries in the table. The ranks will vary depending upon the years. So 2015 it was a different country and Singapore was rank number 8. Maybe overall it is rank number 1. You may now ask me a question, Raja, what is the real purpose of creating this rank? It is as if we have created some sort of serial number. What is the real purpose? Creating a RankX function and then obtaining the rank of values is going to be pretty useful in different scenarios. And in this scenario, I am going to show you one example out of that. Let us say the user wants to see only top 3 countries or top 5 countries or top 8 countries depending upon their requirement. Creating this rank function is going to be pretty useful. As you can see in the screen, I have created a measure called myRank using a function called has1value along with a logical condition called if. And when the value of myRank is called inside a card visual, I could see that it simply displays a text message called select a country, which is also an option in the formula. Let us assume that I am going to click on India. The rank of India is 7 and that is now displayed here. So the Formula is doing what? If somebody is going to choose at least one country from the country column of the Asia table, then its rank will be displayed as my rank, and if no country was selected, then there will be a text message. This text message is just for information that can be replaced with a null string also, or any other information that you wanted to provide over there. So my idea is you need to understand that this function called myRank will identify the rank of a country if somebody is going to choose that particular country. With that introduction, let me get rid of this card visual as it may not be required. I am now going to create a what if parameter which is available under the modeling tab in new parameter section, wherein I am going to use an option called numeric range. The name of the parameter can be anything and I am going to type user's choice. The data type is going to be whole number. And I am defining values for minimum, maximum, increment, default and so on, as you can see in the screen. And add slicer to this page checkbox is also ticked. Let me click on create. As a result, a couple of things have happened in the model. Number one, a table called user's choice is created with a measure called user's choice value. And then there is a slicer as per the minimum, maximum, incremental values provided by me while I was creating this what if parameter. You may now ask me a question, Raja, what exactly this selected value means? Let us say that I am going to create a card visual and then would like to call this user's choice value, then put a tick mark to number 5 here. Then I could see 5 is shown here. Let me show the formula. If somebody is going to select any number from the user's choice table's user choice column, then displays that. Otherwise, give me a default value called 1. So this is the idea behind this measure. For the sake of simplicity, I am going to change this as a simple name called UCV, user's choice value. I'm just going to rename the measure that was automatically created. This is now called UCV. This is for me to understand what exactly this UCV means. Somebody is going to hit 3, then I could see 3 here. So we talked about the rank function and we created a measure called myRank, and now we have created a measure called UCV. This card visual is no more needed. I'm going to remove this. Now the task is, if I'm going to click on 3 here, that should be corresponding to rank 3, and this table should shrink to show only the top 3 countries. To achieve that, I am going to create one more logical DAX measure and then I am going to apply it through a filter mechanism. The logic that I am creating is called cutoff, which is going to compare the value of my rank and that of UCV, and whenever the my rank's value is less than or equal to UCV, then it is going to give a value of 1 because of the if condition. So this cutoff is a measure, and for this given table, I am going to use this cutoff measure as a filtering mechanism, add data fields here, and then I am going to say it should be equal to 1, which means that if somebody is going to hit 4 as UCV, then show me first 4 items. So let me hit apply filter, let me hit 4 here. I could see top 4 countries in the table. Let me hit 2, I could see top 2 countries. Let me hit 9, I could see top 9 and so on. When you create rank function, it can be used for different reasons. I have just shown you one simple reason why you should learn about a rank function. Let me now speak about another simple table in which employees' names are given in one column, their departments are given in another column, their salary values, hire date and are all given. I have created a simple slicer for the department names, and then I have created a simple measure to calculate the salary of the employee, which is called as EMP salary, and created a simple table in which employees' names are called in one column and the measure EMP salary is used in the second column, and this is sorted in descending order. Let me choose one particular department called IT. Then you can see that 3 employees are having the same amount of salary. The value of salary for the first 3 employees is similar. You can also see that there is a similar salary value for yet another 2 employees, yet another 2 employees and so on. Now the question is, if I am going to use a rank function in this scenario, what will be the rank for all these three persons? Is it going to be 1, 2, 3 or 1, 1, 1, then 2, 3 or 1, 1, 1, then 4? Let us check that. When I am trying to construct the rank function, the last syntax is dense or skip, about which I have not spoken in the previous example. Now is the time for me to speak about that. If I am going to choose dense for this option, and then if I am going to call the rank values inside the table, you can see that the first three employees are all ranked as 1 because their salary amounts are equal. And the fourth employee is ranked as the second employee because he is the second largest salary drawing person in this organization. Similarly, you can see 3 and 4 comes up, then 5 and 5 comes up for 2 employees, 6 and 6 comes up for 2 employees. So what is the most important thing you need to see is the serial order is not breaking anywhere. So after 1, we could see 2, then we could see 3, then we could see 4 and so on. On the other hand, if I am going to the rank function and if I am going to use an option called skip, let us see what is going to happen now. When I use skip, now you can see that 2 and 3 were skipped because there are 2 additional persons holding rank number 1. Okay, then the person who was previously ranked as number 2 is now ranked as number 4. And then we get 5 and 6. Then 2 persons were holding 7th rank. Because of that, 8th rank was skipped. And 2 more persons are holding 9th rank. Because of that, 10th rank is skipped and so on. So now probably you will understand what exactly dense or skip means. You may now ask me a question, Raja, what will happen if I am going to keep it blank? I am not going to say dense, I am not going to say skip. Let me hit enter. And there is no change in the value, which means that by default it is skip. And if you come across a scenario where you want the serial order to be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. without breaks, without skipping, then you must remember to use the case of dense. Hopefully, I have explained about the dense and skip components of a rank function, which you are able to clearly see in this example. We have just completed all the 6 tasks that are shown here. Probably you can check it by yourself. And in this video, we had a discussion on using the TopN function, which can also be used to obtain bottom n values. We discussed about using a variable to capture more than one value when n is greater than 1 and displaying the results using the concatenate_x function. We discussed about creating a rank value using RankX function. Using what-if parameter, we have created a table and connected the same with the rank values using a logic. This can be done in a few other methods also. What I showed was a simple method. We also discussed on the ties component of the RankX function, either dense or skip. I believe that was clear to you. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.